Hello and welcome to Steve's Software Shack. Today I'm going to show you what I've been working on the last little while. It's my new game. Working title is Putter Island. So what's Putter Island? Well, this is a game where you are a retiree of the Galaxy Corps. If you've seen my cartoon Galaxy Corps, it's basically Starfleet from Star Trek, and you're on a new planet settling after your retirement. And you're kind of looking for odd jobs to do, puttering around the island, hence the term Putter Island. If I open up the map here, you'll see that we're on an island. It's about 6 kilometers per side, so it's fairly big. The red dots that you'll see are warehouses where you can go and pick up cargo to deliver to the blue dots, which are residents on the island. If I close the menu here, you'll see you've got a truck. It's a hover truck. It's kind of fun to drive. It doesn't drive exactly like a real truck. It kind of has its own physics properties and lack of friction due to the fact that it's hovering. It's kind of fun to drive. If we go into our warehouse here, we have a couple of terminals. The store here is where you can buy upgrades for your guns and your character. And here is the shipping terminal. And if we go to the shipping terminal, we can see a whole bunch of orders to residents around the island. So if I were to pick up, say, these off-world rock samples for Brenda Richter, I can select them to spawn them, and they'll show up in this cargo area here. I can then pick them up and bring them to Brenda. You'll notice that the R actually showed up on the mini-map in the corner. That shows me where I need to go. So it's a bit like Death Stranding, but you have a bit more actual control over the physical cargo pieces. It's not as menu driven. So you'll see that we've got those pieces of cargo kind of just loosely held in our vehicle's bed. So they can fly out over bumps, and so you kind of have to drive carefully. You can drive like a maniac if you want, and then you'll lose a lot of your cargo and your cargo will get damaged. And so a big part of the fun is figuring out how to drive quickly without really losing or breaking your stuff. However, you don't just have to drive like the way I'm doing it here. If I were to get out of my vehicle, I can show you that I have some tools that'll actually make this easier for me. If I position this cargo into an agreeable spot, I can pull out my rope gun, which will let me shoot ropes. I'll shoot the starting point of the rope here, and I'll shoot the ending point of the rope right here. And now I have a rope that's actually keeping that cargo in place. I can actually shoot another one up above here. And now this cargo is locked into place. So if I drive around, it's not going to fall out, so I can drive more quickly or recklessly. The number of ropes you have is a constraint. You can buy more with the cash that you make delivering goods, so that you can get better at delivering goods. As it stands now, you only have this truck, but my plan is for you to start with a much smaller truck and for you to be able to upgrade the truck over time, buying new cabs with more power that can let you haul more cargo or even haul bigger trailers. I plan on having trailers in there as well, if that's the way you want to go, rather than having everything in a single truck. Long-term plans also include having covered boxes and refrigerated boxes for goods that are fragile or refrigerated. Right now, I only have these temporary cubes as cargo. You see those two big rocks that we picked up are actually 40 centimeter cubes. I plan on having unique objects for every piece of cargo you have to deliver. So a big rock really will be a big rock, and it might be a bit of a hassle getting it in the bed of your truck. You might instead choose to attach it to the back of your truck using a rope. I can show you that here if I were to get out of my truck. Remove this rope, grab this box. I can actually use my rope gun and just attach it to the vehicle. And now we can drag it around. It's really up to you how you want to get this cargo delivered. If you have a fragile piece of cargo, obviously this rope setup probably isn't going to be the ideal way of getting it to where you want to go. However, if it is a piece of rock like we're delivering to Brenda Richter here, it might not matter. It might be totally fine to just drag it behind your truck with a rope. No problem. It's really up to you. You can see here if I were, oh, well, I lost that one piece because it wasn't secured fully, but that's all right. We can get out of the truck, and I can show you one of the other goodies we have, which is the balloon gun. If I shoot this on the ground, we have a little balloon. But I also have control over its inflation, so I can make it bigger or smaller and use it to flip the truck over. You could also drive over the balloon if you want. If you can figure out some sort of interesting situation where those balloons might be useful, you should be able to use it. Riding on this mountain here really shows you how the hover truck really doesn't behave like a conventional wheeled vehicle as we know it. If you kind of go up the side at an angle like I'm doing here and kind of skate left and right up the mountain, you can kind of go up any slope you want, which is kind of fun. It reminds me a lot of Breath of the Wild. You can kind of climb anywhere if that's what you want to do. But it's risky, right? The more you do these kinds of crazy maneuvers, the more likely you are to have your cargo go flying out of your truck and going everywhere, and you have to find it and round it up. You could also lose cargo, right? And then have to pay a penalty for it. So, you can drive like a maniac if it's really your prerogative, but like you see here, you're going to lose all of your cargo boxes. If I go into my menu here, we can actually get a status update on the order that we have. This Off-World Rock Samples order has a cargo volume of 2, which means there's 2 pieces of cargo there, and 2 are in transit. So that means I haven't lost that piece yet. It's still somewhere around. I just have to find it. You can see we're approaching Brenda Richter there. We can see her tent on the distance, or in the distance. If you pay close attention, you see that it just popped in there from different LOD levels. That's something I'm working on. I've never actually done a game where you had to stream levels in and out, right? Each of these locations is a level that has to be streamed in and out of memory based upon your distance to it. It's a bit of work, but it works out pretty well. You've got a pretty big world here. Just have to click on the ropes to remove them. And now I can bring the cargo into Brenda's tent. Drop it, and it's delivered. Drop both items for the order, and you get an update on the order status. Off-world rock samples complete, 2 delivered, 0 lost. Now we're pulling up on one of the other outposts, Outpost B. Here's another place where you can pick up orders and upgrade yourself at the store. I can show you I actually have the cash necessary to buy an additional rope. So we can do that at the terminal. And now if I pull out my rope gun, I have 4 ropes rather than 3, which makes me more able to deliver some of these goods. Grozo, the alien, is pretty close, pretty nearby, so you don't make as much cash per item delivering an item to him. If we were to take those 4 items for Grozo, we can now load them up. When you're in a scenario like this, this is when the game can get quite interesting because you have an uneven number of cargo. There's no real surefire way to secure it. So it's kind of creative. It's up to you how you want to tie this stuff down. I mean, whether you want to tie it down at all. If you want to do like people around here in Timmins do and just screw securing your load in any way, great. That's your right. You're going to have a harder time doing it. But in this case, you can get creative with where you place the ropes. Tie them in that way, tie them in this way, tie them in the front. I don't have enough ropes to really make sure every piece of cargo here is totally secure. But this is definitely going to be a bit better than if I have everything just loose in the back of the truck. And now I can bring these supplies to Grozo. Grozo is going to be an alien. He's a gelatinous alien. His wife has disincorporated into a new gelatinous brood that Grozo is a single father looking after. And when you go and see him, you'll be able to have dialogue with him and learn this interesting stuff about him. All of the residents of the island will have their own stories. They're going to be animated characters. If you've seen Cynical Jack, my cartoon on YouTube, it's going to be basically the same system. Animated characters that I'm going to puppeteer in VR and perform and and act out the characters myself. All of the handling for the vehicle is purely physics based. Nothing is abstract. The thrusters that are holding the vehicle up are all uh, physical thrust being applied to a heavy object, which is the frame of the vehicle. And so if you were to load more stuff into the vehicle, the thrusters will have a harder time and the vehicle ride height will reflect that. If you were to put all the heavy weight on, say, the left side of the left side of the vehicle will sag while the right side is higher up. The more mass you have in the back, the lower speed you'll ultimately be able to achieve. It's all strongly tied to the physics system, which is kind of how the whole game works. I would like to have more simulation and less abstraction in pretty much every avenue of the game. That's kind of the design. So what's next for Putter Island? Well, I want to implement the vehicle upgrade system as soon as I can. That seems like it will be a real important addition to the game. It'll give people more of a reason to want to keep playing and something to do with their money beyond just the rope and balloon upgrades that I have now. I would also like to add an economic simulation system. That's the next real plan. I want you to be able to buy and sell goods. I would love for there to be, for instance, a sawmill, and you might get a message from the sawmill saying, hey, we have an excess of wood. We're selling it at 30% off today. So you can go with your truck or your trailer and load up on wood. Maybe you go back a bunch of times, come back to your warehouse and stock it up with the wood. Then maybe 2 weeks later, you might get a message from a resident saying, hey, I need wood to build my new deck. I don't have any. I will buy some at 30% above the retail price, and you'll make lots of bank on that wood that you bought. I would really like it so that deliveries are something that are a core gameplay feature, but aren't the only way to make money. And if you don't want to do that at all, you can just avoid them. You could instead do tasks for people. There's going to be fishing. You're going to be able to get goods, say, from a tree. Those trees down there might have berries on the top, which you can, if you can pull down the tree using a rope in your truck, you can get the berries on top and sell them at one of the outposts. So there will be a bunch of things to do in the game, not just deliveries, but right now it really is a delivery sim. And as you can see, I wasn't lying. You can get this truck pretty much anywhere if you're determined. And I think that's actually really fun. Anyway, thanks for checking it out. Development will continue. Let me know if you're interested or if you've got any questions, and I'll address them the next time I do one of these videos. Thanks.